So it looks like CEO of Larian Studios, developers of Baldur's Gate 3, just exposed lies about Xbox Series S. Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I would like to talk about Xbox Series S, development of games for that platform and Baldur's Gate 3 and a couple of other technical things too. Okay, so what is it all about? Well, there's this narrative which has been going on for a while now that Xbox Series S holds this generation back because of low specs, and yes, there's been quite a lot of legitimate concerns when it comes to specs of that console, and CPU and GPU is not the real concern. The only concern I see, and which keeps popping up all the time, is memory, right? Now there's ways to go around it, but we'll talk about it later. Okay, so I want to focus on Sven Wickel. I think that's how I should pronounce it. Anyway, he's a CEO of Larian Studios, developers of Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm sure you've heard that Larian Studios did confirm that Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be launching later for Xbox due to some limitations on Xbox Series S, and they have to solve some technical issues. They have to spend more time optimizing for that console, right? That's why the game is going to delay. By the way, it's actually not a bad idea, because if they released Baldur's Gate 3 around the same time Starfield launches, yeah, that wouldn't really do well on Xbox anyway, right? But I'm not saying that that's the reason, right? But a couple of months ago, there's been people saying, oh, this game will never come to Xbox, and looks like it will. It's just going to launch a little bit later. It looks like development for that platform will need some extra time. And there's, he based in an interview, and by the way, you can see this link to this interview. There's a long interview on Skills Up channel, where they discuss a number of things about Baldur's Gate 3, and also one of the questions was about Xbox Series S holding this generation back. And he said that he doesn't believe, he doesn't see Xbox Series S holding this generation back, as you can see in this tweet. And there's some quotes. I think it's an okay proposition to say we have two devices. We want compatibility across the devices. So he's referring to the fact that a lot of people were asking Microsoft to drop the support for Xbox Series S, which sounds crazy. I mean, obviously they won't do it until this generation ends, right? So it makes no sense, and they will never do it, right? And yeah, just forget about it. So yeah, of course it's okay to ask for compatibility across the devices. And he just says that, developing for two platforms just, it's just extra effort, right? And these are just two simple quotes. But in this interview, so like click on that link, watch the interview. By the way, the link is with timestamps. I mean, this link will take you directly to the part where they discuss Xbox Series S, so you won't have to search for it really. So check the link, and in this video, during that interview, he's talking about development process on many platforms, and obviously he talks about Xbox Series S. He did say that he doesn't believe that Xbox Series S holds this generation back. Obviously he's looking at things from his own perspective, and but because people are using Baldur's Gate 3 as a prove that, oh, it's holding this generation back, he said no, right? I mean, it's he just said that they've been focusing on PC and PlayStation, and I guess Xbox Series X, and obviously Xbox Series S, because of the lower specs, just needs a little bit more time to optimize, right? It just takes more time to make that game to run on Xbox Series S, and we knew that's going to happen. It has lower specs, right? It's extra optimization. I guess it all depends how a developer approach development of a game. If they are making a game for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, right? I mean, hey, there's hardly any, I mean, obviously there's still some optimization that needs to be done there, of course. But, you know, like they are not that different in terms of specs, right? But then with Xbox Series S, of course it will need some extra time because you have to optimize, you have to make sure that this game will run on Xbox Series S. And he did say that they don't have infinite resources. They have to focus on many things at the same time. They are releasing the game for PC and PlayStation, well, almost at the same time, because it's not really simultaneous launch still. But that just goes to show that they've got limited resources. And, you know, like with many other games, you know, these games and optimizing for Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S takes time. And we've seen so many examples of that. Like, you know, I remember a lot of games launching on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, running at 60 frames per second, high resolution, better graphics, and then Xbox Series S would come with 30 frames per second locked frame rate, right? You know, people would complain, and then, you know, 2-3 months later, voila, there's a patch available for Xbox Series S, and now the game runs at 60 frames per second. So it just goes to show that it takes a little bit more effort to optimize for Xbox Series S, and that's why we will probably see that moving forward, because like it's way easier to optimize for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X at the same time because the specs are very similar, right? While with Xbox Series S, well, there's a little bit more effort, you know, that developers need to put into cutting stuff out, reducing resolution, reducing resolution as actually the simplest stuff they can do. But, you know, when it comes to Xbox Series S, you know, they have to reduce, you know, graphical fidelity and that kind of stuff, make sure that everything works and stuff. So it takes time, right? And I understand a lot of developers' frustration with that because they have to make sure that it works on 2 platforms instead of just one Xbox platform. But hey guys, it is what it is. Like if you want to develop a game for Xbox, you have to make sure that it works on Xbox Series X and S, right? It's just the way it is. It's just like when a developer wants to release a game for PC, they have to make sure that their game will work across all different platforms. Different, you know, PC platforms, as in different graphics, different CPUs, different memory configurations, different hard drives and whatever, right? It's called scalability, right? And it really works. So like all these lies, because like, I mean, dude, like guys, there's been so many developers basically saying that, yeah, Xbox Series S does not hold this generation back. It's just extra effort on developers. And that's what it is. That's what it is. There's nothing else to it really. And like, we've seen even so many times like games that you would never say they would ever come to like a Switch. Like this console is really low power, right? And then you see Switch running on Switch, Witcher 3 running on Switch, and it's doable. It just took a lot of effort to do it. Now, we can obviously discuss whether Microsoft's decision to actually deliver Xbox Series S was actually a smart one. Well, we will have to wait and see. Probably towards the end of this generation. But I think that Xbox Series S actually helps Xbox a little bit because it's a cheap console, and we haven't really seen a full potential of this console either, because there's lack of optimization for this generation games still, right? So it is what it is, guys, and it's just, I don't know, people just keep coming back with the same stupid ideas and same stupid conversations and points, and then developer comes out and crashes all these people, and they just keep on coming back. It's just ridiculous. But hey, you can't fix broken people, I guess. But you know, and don't get me wrong, I don't mind people not understanding things and not being interested in things. But when you really take when you are being said something by a developer of a game, and you still keep on going with that stupid narrative that Baldur's Gate is an example of a game that you know, that Xbox Series S is holding this generation back, is just stupid. It's just stupid. But yeah, you can't fix stupid, I guess. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.